Good evening, warm welcome to Dan Really Likes Wine, brought to you by Norman Goodfellows, and welcome back to a rather familiar spot, a different corner of it. I don't think we've filmed quite here before, but it is the broader surrounds of the Old Oak, and that is home not just for the show this evening, but also for the Jolly Good Carols at Norman Goodfellows. They'll be kicking off in about an hour or so. We're expecting a healthy crowd full of Christmas cheer and full of excitement, because not only is it Christmas carols to be sung, but it is a rather well-known rock star to join the evening as well. Craig Hinds from Watershed is our very special guest at Jolly Good Carols this evening. He's also my very special guest on the show this evening. In just a moment, I'll be introducing a man who's not only one of the great voices of South African music, and not only one of the single greatest water polo players South Africa's ever produced, but he's found his way into the wine industry as well. And he's done so with a good friend of his, a very good friend of mine, Danie Steytler, who I think has also got a musical background. We'll find out how these two met up and how the wines that they are producing came to be. It's a really cool story of somebody for whom wine has always been a passion, now getting into the industry and creating a couple of really nice wines with one of the experts, Danie Steytler of Kaapzicht in Stellenbosch. So that is our show this evening as we come towards the end of what's been a very busy but very exciting year. And a reminder, in case you need to pop something into the diary, the next Monday and next Thursday, our last two live shows of the year, as we celebrate the wine year that has been 2023 with a number of wine experts. So look out for that. You'll hear during the course of the show a few sound checks going on in the background, and you might also hear a growing murmur of noise and excitement as thousands of Watershed fans try and beat down the booms at Royal Johannesburg as part of this evening. So a very festive feel to tonight. Craig Hinds joining us in just a moment. But before we catch up with him and discover his wine journey, let's have a quick look at some of the latest wine news. Now, this is a new edition. If you watched the show on Monday, it was live from Leopard Creek with Gareth Robertson, for both Anthony Rupert Weiner fame, but also the South African blind wine tasting team. This is the newest addition to the Anthony Rupert family, not in terms of the wines themselves, but in terms of the vintages. On the left, one we've had on the show before, that is the brand new Old Vine Chenin Blanc. This is a wine that was transplanted. They lifted these old vines and brought them all the way back through to Franschhoek to be planted at Anthony Rupert Weiner, and it is an old vine Chenin that really does sum up the joy of this old vine project that people like Rosa Clear are so big at promoting. It's wine with an intensity, wine with a fullness of fruit, and not that kind of slightly heavy, slightly flaccid fruit. Instead, it's still got a zestiness and a life to it. Very, very young. There's almost a whisper of Colombard to it because it is so fresh into the bottle, but a wine that over the next few years is going to go from very good, which it was already, to something even more special. And it sits alongside the Old Vine Cinsault. Now, these are grapes that come from the same block as the Ebensadi Cinsault, so it's pretty impressive stock, and also the Obo stock, giving it that sense of heritage and creating a Cinsault that's almost perfect. Cinsault you can drink fairly young. This is just in the bottle. It's almost perfect as it is, but just another year or so, and the last little imperfections will iron out, and you've got that perfectly smooth wine. But as I say already, it's drinking very nicely indeed, and I think Cinsault could be a big hit for people looking for wine over the course of this summer. And the Obostock would be one to include if your wine adventures take you into a Cinsault space. Now, the Cape Wine Auction. This is Saturday, the 3rd of February at Murati Wine Estate. I will be hosting this at the beginning of February. It's a terrific event. Cape Wine Auction Trust has delivered so much in way of funding to charities across the Western Cape through the winelands. This is going to be another terrific night. It's a terrific afternoon. It's a really, really cool event. The lots will become public over the next month or so, But as always, there'll be some really, really upmarket stuff, some very exclusive stuff, chances to go around the world, to explore, to just have a really good wine adventure based on the generosity of the people behind this. So it's Paul Kluber who is running it now. He's taken over from Raymond Law, who's the chair. I will be your host. Head over to the Cape Wine Auction website if you'd like to get a few of those tickets that will be available. Small bespoke event that you definitely want to be part of. The jumpers for joy. I'll be wearing mine tonight at our Jolly Good Carols at Royal Johannesburg. They've been doing really well across South Africa. They sell at 499 Rand each, and the proceeds go to both the Johnson Foundation and via the Nickel Foundation to Reach for a Dream. And all you have to do is go online to Johnson or drop it at one of their stores. If your online delivery is free, and you'll look incredibly cool this Christmas with a touch of Bridget Jones to your Christmas outfit. More importantly, be supporting two wonderful causes, and we'd love to see you get behind those. All right, so there we go. Your jumpers for joy and your wines to look out for, all leading up to some wine that I've got a pretty good feeling you haven't had yet, because it is very, very new on the market. It is a Norman Goodfellows. You might have seen the wine there, but if you haven't seen the wine, you've certainly seen the man behind it, the rock star in residence here tonight, who has taken a break for the next 45 minutes away from wine, away from music, to instead talk a bit about wine. Craig Hinds, welcome to the show. Lovely to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. What a cool place to be on a Thursday.
Yeah, well, this is why so many people are leaving Cape Town and moving up to Johannesburg. It's for afternoons and evenings like this.
Yeah, I'm Steytler last couple of minutes. In fact, the wind has died to create this perfect Johannesburg afternoon.
We've got a great night in store. You're going to be our headline act at the Jolly Good Carols, and thank you for that. With Norman Goodfellows, who are also very proud partners on Dan Really Likes Wine, and that is where we find the wine of Craig Hinds. Now, I knew you were one of my favourite musicians. I knew you were this water polo prodigy. I didn't realise there was wine as well. Before we look at your specific wine, give me the broader wine story. When did you fall in love with wine?
So we've lived in Joburg our whole lives, and 7 years ago decided to relocate to the Cape. And I think that's where it started. I think being down there, there's a lot to do on weekends, and sort of getting out to wine farms is sort of one of them. You mentioned Paul Kluber earlier. We played with Paul Kluber at Paul Kluber many times. We played over the years on many wine farms. So I think the whole idea was there, and then I think sort of really digging into wine and slowly learning more about it. I'm sort of still don't know too much about it, but it's pretty vast. But it's definitely been a big part of the years that I've spent, and it's alongside the back and alongside music and. So that's I think where it started. I mean, being in the region where this whole thing sort of got the whole juices flowing.
Great choice of words. If I think of the image of rock stars, it's normally finish off your concert, back to the hotel room, bottle of vodka in one hand, bottle of tequila in the other, lingerie models in the jacuzzi, throw a few TV sets through the window. And a standard practice.
That's standard. That's pretty standard.
Sitting back with a refined glass of old vine Chenin Blanc isn't quite the same image. Something that has become a regular part of your life. Opening a good bottle of wine after a great concert.
Yeah, we tend to drink we have what's called a technical ride, a hospitality ride, and what's on there is sort of our drinks of choice. And as I say, in the last 6 odd years, we've had wine on the hospitality ride. If we're doing a wine farm, we'll have this. I think we end up trying a lot of wine, but it's strictly for after the show, and then we can really relax and enjoy it. It's been a special part of the last couple of years, and it's for me just an extra arm to the show, an added extra, which I really love being part of being involved in that.
for most people, as they look back at their own wine story, there is a particular bottle that strikes a chord. That was the one that really captured my attention, got me thinking, I want to know more about this. I want to get more into the world of wine. Was there such a bottle for you?
So there've been a few. My wife, there've been a couple of wines that she really loves, and I sort of tend to follow her taste, because I feel she's got a really and besides Danie rocking up at party with incredible wines. Yeah, I mean, we're loving the Sauvignon Blanc that Ned loves. I'll think of it now. But yeah, I'm sort of more of a more blend. I enjoy the blends, and I love the Chenin. I just feel they really just sort of pull through for me. I really love those. Because I just like to, I suppose, much like music. People often ask the question, "What bands do you follow?" And it's quite difficult to pinpoint. There's a lot of good music, and it's really it's about listening to good songs and hearing them, deciding you love that song. The next day there's another. So I think it's I find so many parallels with songs and wine, because there's so much, and it's I suppose when you take legendary wine, it's something special.
Which does make it challenging. You do have a guide though, and you mentioned his name a moment ago. The Danie in question, if you heard Danie being spoken of, is Danie Steytler. Danie Steytler, the 17th or 18th by now, I lose count of how all these wine dynasties work. Danie Steytler is clearly a friend of yours. How did you cross paths with the smiling Stellenbosch Brewmaster?
I seem to remember the first time was wine tasting. We were doing I wasn't part of the wine industry then at all. I was purely there to be a part of the entertainment. There were 10, 12 wineries that were there, and people coming through and tasting and drinking. I was sort of in between the tastings, getting on for 3 or 4 songs, and noticed this guy standing and really watching and really just getting enjoying. And straight after the show, I went over to Danie, and we started chatting. And from there, I think it progressed. We kept in touch. We did another event that we were at, and just chatting to Danie, he sort of sparked the idea of a Watershed sort of celebration. We've been going for a long time. To do wines, Watershed wines, would have been was a really exciting idea when you dropped the question, and so the process began. It's taken a while, but it's different, and it feels real. It's a great thing.
Well, let's meet the other half of this partnership, Danie Steytler at Kaapzicht. Danie, later have you back on the show with some more terrific wine to celebrate. Tell me first of all about this friendship. How did you end up at the birthday party of Craig Hinds? I suspect knowing you was yet another one that you gauge crashed, but how did you end up crossing paths, and how did this friendship take shape?
Hey Dan, how's it? Craig, lucky to see you guys. Hopefully the internet's working. It's dodgy in Bottler. Yeah, man. I think Craig mentioned it. We met at a wine function, head over heels, and I've been you could probably say a Watershed groupie from the beginning. 2000 when I was first to university and Watershed just started up. Always a big fan, and it was unbelievable to meet Craig, face to face and hear him play music. And then afterwards, it seemed like he liked our wines as well. And then we got chatting. And then when he said it, I asked him if he would come play at our at our 40th, and then also at our first harvest party that we had here on the farm, and he agreed, and and the friendship just started from there. So it's always a massive honor to make wines with Craig, someone who's got such passion, and it's just such a great musician. So.
When we spoke at the start of the show, I referenced my perception of what these rock stars are like. The vodka, the tequila, the lingerie models, the raucous life of misbehavior. And yet here we have this rather demure and respectable and elegant type who likes quiet glasses of wine after his concerts. Were you quite surprised to discover that one of your musical heroes had this wine interest?
Yeah, well, I think that good music, good food, good friends or good people, good wine, these things all go together. So no, I wasn't surprised, but what it did surprise me that he liked our wine so much. So that was very nice. Yeah.
Let's check in on Danie's wine then. Before we try and talk about these two specific wines, what was it generally about the wine of Kaapzicht, the wine of Danie Steytler, that caught your eye and got you smiling?
As I was saying earlier about wine and music, I think when you taste Danie's wine, it's tastes on the money. From his blends to his Shannons, it's just when you take that sip. We actually started a little online wine chat during COVID, and it was really about not being afraid to buy a cheaper bottle of wine and actually getting incredible wine, and the whole idea was that it's about going out and tasting wine, and when I was drinking Kaapzicht wine and events and doing in fact 2 events at Kaapzicht, you just realize that these are just super great wines, and and I think there's no point in trying to figure out what makes it good. I think that's where Danie comes in to explain it. But for me, it's like when you open a bottle of wine, you just say, this is really incredible, and that's what this is.
So to create something like this, Danie, you've got a very well-established wine name yourself. Sure, you get to collaborate with one of your childhood heroes as a musical star, but you've also got to do something that still works for you, still speaks to your winemaking ability, to your brand. How do you begin this sort of process in finding the wine that both speaks to Kaapzicht, but also tells the story of this global rock sensation who's discovered the love of wine?
It starts off with we taste pretty much everything we make, all our finished products. Then we get a feeling of what Craig likes. He, I think, also had a big tasting with some of his friends and Nats and his family, and then they kind of narrow things down and say, well, we like this wine, we like that wine, and then we take it a bit further and we start playing around more specifically and start putting stuff together. Work on, for example, on the blend. If he likes the Shiraz on its own, if we add some Cab or add some Merlot or add some Petit Verdot, just playing it with percentages, what speaks to him or to their family and friends, and then we narrowed stuff down to what we thought worked well for both of us.
Which reminds me very, very similarly of the process that Ernie Els went through when he started making his wines. Ernie Els, great golfer, Craig Hinds, great water polo player. There's lovely sporting symmetry there. Where was this process of elimination? This I like, this not so much. This is great, this we can give a skip. As you work through, I guess it's both not just understanding what wine you want to make, but starting to get an understanding of why you do and don't like certain styles, certain approaches to wine.
Absolutely, that's why when we first started this process, we had 18 people around our place, and we had a whole lot of Danie's wines, and we pretty much did a blind tasting on the full range, and then slowly went. And once we had decided that this is sort of where we sit in, we then delved into the songs, and we were thinking, where do Watershed sit in the music space? What's our demographic? What's our audience like? Where does that all sit? And from there, we started to then chat and start to really try to tweak these wines just to make them work for us. And I think you want to make them really special because you want to be proud of them. You want to confidently talk about them. For me, that's something that is not a t-shirt. It's not a cap. It's not a your classic merch. This is something that someone can buy, they can enjoy, they can hear Watershed, they can taste Watershed, they can sort of get this sort of really. It's part of our brand. So it was important for us to find a wine that people really enjoy and they want to come back and watch us again and drink more.
All right. Pairing wine with food is regular. Pairing wine with music, well, it seems this is working out quite nicely as well. Let's have a look at this first wine. Danie, it is a white wine, which means from the hand of Mr. Steytler, it's almost certainly going to be a Chenin Blanc, a space that you've done so much to define in Stellenbosch over the last few decades between you and your dad. What have you done with this Chenin Blanc to both make it stand out from the other Chenin offerings that you have, and fine offerings they are, but also to try and capture both the palate of Craig Hinds, but also the spirit of Watershed?
Okay, so like you said, Chenin's always a natural choice for us because it grows really well here in the bottler, eh? We've got specific vineyards, older vines that work quite well. Kliprig specifically was a profile which Craig enjoyed very much. Nats, his wife, preferred something that had a little bit more fruit or a little bit fresher profile. So we did a couple of barrel selections, pulled some stuff out of Kliprig, and took some of another wine which we call Sonstein. It's a vineyard planted in '84, and then we combined those two to put something together which I think works well and is different from any one of our products, but special for Watershed.
And it is in Kaapzicht, one of the great homes of Chenin Blanc, a wine I'm sure that you would have been familiar with beforehand, because if you fall in love with Chenin Blanc in South Africa, there's a good chance Danie has been partly responsible. Why Chenin Blanc, and how difficult a journey was it to settle on this as the wine you wanted to make?
I'm not sure how to describe it. So I'm still learning. I mean, it's a vast industry. When it comes to the levels of people here in Danie. For me, as I said, it's about a flavor profile. It's about tasting certain things. And I would put Chenin in between a Chardonnay and a Sauvignon. For me, it's a more rounded flavor. It's capturing, often what one would use the word butcheriness in your Chardonnay is, and sort of the more focused flavors in the Sauvignon Blanc. And for me, that just sits well in there. Maybe that's what it is. It's a good flavor for me.
Well, let's
describe it in any.
I think what's clear is that you've obviously got a real feel for this style of wine, and you said not alone. South Africans are increasingly discovering the joy of Chenin. People around the world are discovering the joys of South African Chenin, and people in the Loire Valley are realizing that South Africans make it better than the French. With Danie headlining that, we've actually got a glass of it here. So as we try it, cheers and congratulations, winemaker Hinds. Danie, two things as we try this. Give me a sense of what you feel people are looking for in this specific wine as they drink it. And then also give me a sense of just how much work the rock star actually did. Did he just arrive in his Italian sports car and expect everything to be done for him, or did he roll up his sleeves a little and get stuck in?
And clap.
No, Craig is very much hands-on. He comes and he walks around with us in the cellar, trying barrels, tasting, helping to blend, put something together. Watershed is authentic South African, great quality, same as Shannon. I think the texture of the wine is special. That I think always comes automatically when you use older vines. It's not a skill that the winemaker brings. It's just something that is there when you have an older vineyard. But it's unique. It's different to any of the Kaapzicht products, and I think that he's got his own hand on it. And I think people hopefully enjoy it. I think it's a good wine.
Well, we're going to be trying it with a little bit of food, because you've got one of Chef Rasley Peterson's dishes here. I think that's fresh langoustine from Give it that local authenticity. For food wine is a delight to all of us. How do you think this one goes in your wine?
Well, that is incredible. That is incredible. I think the whole thing now, there's new things going on in space.
It is an ideal meal to go with Chenin Blanc, which is just such a good food wine. That does take care of the white side, with one exception. It is linked to the music. It's not just Craig Hinds Watershed Chenin Blanc. There's a slightly more specific name. It's a tribute to one of the songs. Which one do you choose and why?
I chose letters, and we called our Chenin letters, which for me, if you had to rate any Watershed song, it's been our second most successful song.
But it is actually the best song.
But it could be the best song. I think because Nat, my wife, the song Letters is about her, it's about her and I. And so when it came to that, it was she loves Shannon, best Shannon in town. It
was a natural choice.
It was a natural choice. It was very easy. It's a simple story. It's a simple idea, and I think when you think of the song and you drink the Shannon, I think everything's really
And what also, and this just shows the research that I do, being a terribly professional presenter and executive producer, the song Letters is actually 4 minutes and 18 seconds, which is the average amount of time it takes to drink one of your bottles of wine if you are Danie Steytler, because he is a man of some thirst. Let's go back down to Kaapzicht, Danie. Wine out of the way. Let's move on to the red, and this one's always going to be a bit more interesting. Kaapzicht, you've got a great line in Pinotage. You've got your Pentagon. You've gone though here, Bordeaux blend with a flash of Shiraz. So first emulating the French and then annoying them in quick succession. So much like the World Cup quarter-final. Tell me about the story of this wine.
Yeah, so you've touched on it already. I think that the wine's called Indigo Girl. It's a dark color. The wine as well, Cab, Petit, Merlot, kind of the base of the wine, which brings a lot of depth. Shiraz has got a beautiful spice and like red berry colors to it, so brings a nice juiciness into the wine. I think we played around a lot to bring something that had structure and length, but wasn't just too austere and difficult. The Shiraz brings a lightness to the wine and a juiciness, which makes it just like to drink.
And I get real sense that that's kind of what you're aiming for. It's what Danie does. He does play down his wine a lot. He's a brilliant winemaker, but likes to kind of pass himself off as this blue-collar farmer type. There's a definite streak of genius behind it all. But so much of Danie's wine has that warm affability to it. It's really settle into a glass, usually followed by 2 or 3 more. It's stuff that's just approachable and it's engaging, and it's kind of like settling into a Watershed album. You just know you're in some great company, and it's just going to be a really enjoyable, pleasant experience.
That sounds like a wonderful parallel. You just it's for me, Danie mentioned the Shiraz, and I think for me, this blend. It's that Shiraz is giving it that thing, because it's all the Bordeaux varietals, with Shiraz on it. And I've been at wine tastings in the last couple of months, and you get some guys coming up and tasting the wine, and the first thing is like, wow, this is incredible, and then they ask what's in it, and then I say, well, it's your 5 Bordeaux varietals. So sorry, let me start again. I say it's a Bordeaux blend with Shiraz. So then he goes, well, then it's not a Bordeaux blend. So I say, no, but it's got 5 varietals, and we've added Shiraz to give it this wonderful flavor and spice that Danie mentioned. So that for me has made this particular blend incredibly special.
It is one that we are trying right now. As we try it, Danie, if it is swirling about upon my palate, for those people who are sitting salivating at home, wherever they may be, what are they expecting to get on this wine? What's going to blow them away?
I think that the texture and feel of the wine is important. The weight, we call plush, that fruit. Bottleray Hills, or where we are, a lot of northwest facing slopes, so we get like a sun. So it helps to really ripen the tannin and give you a nice mouthfeel, and that I think is important, to give you a comforting feeling, like a wine hug. The fruit of the wine is very important, that you have something that's juicy and leaves your mouth moreish, but then it still has got tannin, which is the cab backbone to the wine, which will make it a great partner to food, or just give the wine a bit more oomph. It's not a pushover.
It's also another wine that can go rather nicely with food, as all great wine should, really. You've got some of Chef Ransley Dawson's Wagyu with some caviar. Now, I'm a little bit nervous about having you eat a piece of steak while Danie is watching, and we could have a tearful winemaker on the other end, but try that. It's a signature dish of Ransley's. There's a real richness, and I suspect in particular that Shiraz is going to come into play for a rather nice collision of flavour.
This is my best
Oh dear. It's a wonderful collaboration. It's one that is only just getting started. How far does it go in your world?
There's been a lot of, I've learned a lot. Our team, the Watershed team, have learned a lot. I suppose we are a band, and that's what we do. We create music. To be able to partner with early Steytler, Kaapzicht, and people like Danie and his team, who are actually incredible, have helped me and guided me every step of the way. Because the admin levels on wine on another level, so it's just been a perfect synergy that we feel has literally given Watershed another part of our brand, and it's you sort of have this power, and you give an additional power, and you carry on. You sort of feel confident to present yourself with the music and your wine. And it's been a great year.
Danie, this partnership from your perspective, it's very easy for you to slap a label onto some wine and give somebody their vanity project to say, oh, this is my own product. This would seem to be something considerably more than that. How rewarding has this venture been, and how much more do you see coming out of it?
Well, it's just lucky working with Craig, and I have told him before that I used to play the trumpet at school, and I'm hoping to maybe make a little appearance there in the band one day. I'm just joking. I'm not very good at the trumpet anymore, but it's just lovely working with him. He's such a nice person, and it's a big honor.
I'm seeing an upcoming Watershed music video with a Danie Steytler trumpet solo, and then me doing something slightly less impressive.
sort of starting the whole album. We want a trumpet solo, sort of in the distance. You hear through the Bottler Ray Hills, you hear this trumpet, and slowly we sort of get into the new song, and then you step in, and we just take it from there. But I remember Danie telling me that he played the trumpet, and that he played something, but now when he mentioned trumpet, it was a nice surprise, because it's not an instrument that I think is played often. It's certainly something that I can't play. But I think we should try and put a trumpet in the second, third song.
Well, look, if you speak to the judges of the Grammys, they've always said Watershed's big failing was a lack of a proper brass element. So Danie Steytler on trumpet could be the way to go. Danie, just before we let you go, because I know you've got a busy evening, it's a super busy time of the year. This will, I'm sure, be one of the highlights as you look back on 2023. In terms of the rest of the year, has it been a solid year, a good year, a challenging year for Kaapzicht?
Yeah, the wine industry. It's fun, but it is sometimes challenging. It's the rain has been challenging in the vineyards. Sales worldwide has been tough, but it's still a lovely place to be, and it's always made so much nicer with all the good friends we have in the industry. Spending time with everyone makes it all worthwhile. So.
Well, thank you, not just for being part of the show, but for being once again in 2023. Great friend to Dan Really Likes Wine. I know we're hoping to get one or two little projects off the ground somewhere in the future. But for now, big thank you for being part of the show. Thank you for helping Craig discover his inner sommelier. And I'm sure there'll be more exciting projects with Watershed for us to celebrate in the near future.
Yeah, super. Always lucky chatting to you, Dan. Sorry I'm not there with you, Craig. I would have loved to see the show and the carols now. But yeah, we'll see you soon on the farm.
There we go.
Fantastic, Danie. Yeah.
He's actually just finished his 5th braai of today, and he's off to start number 6, so probably 7 or 8 by the time he is done. Danie addresses the question of a decent year wine-wise. For Watershed, for music, for Craig Hinds, setting aside the wine, which has been fun. Has it been a good year, a challenging year, an easy one?
I think it's been a good year. We haven't seen any sort of downturn, really. I think people are still really pushing through. It seems that there's a lot of disposable income out there, and people are coming to concerts, and that's really cool. We're about to get into our big season. So I always joke over the night that we work really hard for 1 month and we take the rest of the year off. It's not quite that, but it feels like that. And as everyone else is winding down, we're winding up, and you sort of feel burnt out just before you got to tour. But you get on the road, and I think it's the energy of the people that the band love, and that make this whole thing work. It's not about playing Indigo Girl 10,000 times. It's about every time we play Indigo Girl, we're playing to 10,000 new people, and that's what makes the song special. And we keep touring with it.
We're going to be playing Letters a little later on this evening to pay tribute to the Shannon, and we'll be playing Indigo Girl, because that, of course, is the name of the other wine.
Yeah, the blend is Indigo Girl, which is, one would argue, our biggest song ever. And it happened really early in the career, and I think for us the hardest part about being in Watershed is keeping up with that song. Indigo Girl has kept Watershed on its toes, and that's a good thing.
Well, it's clearly keeping you going. It's really nice that you've got this music side hustle you focus on your wine career, and it's just going to be more and more fun for us to drink, as it has been this evening. Hanging out with these it's a delight. Being able to do so this evening at the Jolly Good Carols with Norman Goodfellows at Royal Johannesburg is going to be very special. But so too is drinking more of this wine, sharing this wine journey with you. So welcome to the wine world. It's great to have you as part of it. And the only thing I have to make you very clear on is that once you've entered it, it's a very, very difficult one to get out of.
Thank you, Ben. It's been amazing to chat.
So there we go. Craig Hinds of Watershed, lead singer, one of my favourite musicians on the planet. Not just because he named his band after my old high school, but he's just got that enchanting voice, and the enchantment now extends to 2 new wines made with Danie Steytler at Kaapzicht, the Old Vine Shannon and the 6 Blend Red, 5 classic water varietals, plus some Shiraz. A wine that's just a lot of fun to drink, which is much like going to a Watershed concert. We've got one of those this evening, Carols and Craig in tandem, together with some special guests, raising money in support of Jumping Kids, the charity that helps young people in need prosthetic limbs that don't have the funds to get them themselves. So it's a special evening, accompanied by some terrific wine. One rather good South African musical icon. That does it for this evening. Dan Really Likes Wine, brought to you by Norman Goodfellows with my very special guest, Craig Hinds of Watershed, and Danie Steytler, trumpet player of Watershed 2024. If you are joining us this evening, we will see you shortly at the Jolly Good Carols. Otherwise, see you back on Monday, as next week we wrap up our Wines of 2023 with, amongst others, Gareth Pereira, UK Sommelier of the Year, Lambert, International Young Wine Writer of the Year. They'll be joining us, plus a few others on Monday's show. I've got jingle bells to go and belt out and small children to scare with my backing vocals. Have a great evening from the Old Oak at Royal Johannesburg. Goodbye.